art. So let's get started today. I'm so excited that so many people are in the audience. My name is Kara Greenblatt, and I'm an artist. I'm also a member of the Howard Center Arts Collective. And I just want to first thank you all for coming today. In the audience, we have members of the Howard Center Board of Directors. We have members of the leadership team. I'm just watching everyone come in. It's exciting. We have many friends and family members of our artists. And since this is a public event, we also have various members of the Burlington and South Burlington community. And I even heard that Temple Sinai's Sisterhood is here today as part of their Lunch and Learn program. So I'm just so honored to have you all here and thanks for making time to come and be with us. So let me tell you a little bit about how this will go today. First, I'm going to talk a little bit about what the Arts Collective is and who we are as artists. And then, and we'll show a video about 4 of our artists that we did for World Mental Health Day in October. We'll go through the artwork, and each of our artists will have an opportunity to share. And then we'll have a Q&A. So start thinking of your questions, and you can shoot those to me in the chat at any time during this event. And then finally, we'll wrap up with a 1-minute poem in video format, and that's entitled Art is My Sanctuary, and that was co-created by our artists. So we should finish up between 12:50 and 12:55, just a few minutes later than I originally anticipated. So what is the Howard Center Arts Collective? Well, we are a community of artists, and it's been around, our community's been around since 2013. We were started by a handful of Howard Center staff and Howard Center clients who shared the common ground of being artists and valuing the transformative and really healing potential of making art. We try to do our best to keep our community as non-hierarchical as possible. It's a place we come to create art together, to socialize, to share our artwork and get feedback from one another. And of course, we exhibit our art together as a group in local galleries and in public spaces. I often get the question, so who can participate in the Arts Collective? And I just want to read you a description straight from our brochure so you have an exact sense of who we are. So let me just pull that up. We are a group of adult artists who have lived experience with mental health or addiction challenges via our own personal lived experience with a family member or a friend, or through our work. We welcome artists from both within and outside the Howard Center who have similar experiences. I want to point out that we have both staff and clients as members, and in our community, we all stand on equal footing when it comes to making decisions about how we run the collective, where we exhibit, and what kinds of activities we do. It's really important to us that everyone has a voice and that every voice counts equally. We are friends, we are colleagues, and we are artists. The other thing I just wanted to say is that we all self-identify as artists no matter how many years we've been making art or say how much training we have. Some of our members have degrees have a degree in the fine arts. Others, like me, only started making art in the last few years. We all have a lot to learn from one another. And for all of us, making art and being creative has a healing and very transformative benefit. So you'll learn a bit more about that when you watch this video. And I'm going to ask Brittany if we can cut to the video now. I've always wanted to say that. Here we go.
Art helps me breathe. It brings my curiosity alive. If somebody looks at my work and it makes them feel something, if it elicits an emotion in them, then I know that it's good.
I would describe my style as like medieval woodcut printings and old medical illustrations. Usually I start with more serious works that are meant to be seen or sold, that's like 8 or 10 hours a day. Then during downtime, like my time off, I'd just be working in my art journals, just doodling.
I have a routine. I get up every morning, I take it upstairs to the kitchen table and start making one almost every day of the week. These are my favorites.
I got to be more of a dedicated artist just by keeping it simple. Somehow it helped me get focused. This is a watercolor. I'm trying to give some texture to it like you'd see with oil paints or acrylics.
I have a lot of difficulties verbalizing things, so I use imagery a lot. It's very therapeutic for me. I'm able to quell the demons inside me, I guess.
In my life, I've had many chapters, and some of them I've fallen very, very deep into an abyss. So art is part of my survival and gives meaning to my life.
What I'm trying to do now is transform a diagnosis into a skill. It's a good way to heal.
It's like mindfulness. I feel happy and productive.
I first started with the Arts Collective in 2019.
Seeing other people's art, talking with people about their process, enjoying being around other artists and talking about their work in very different mediums.
Sharing artwork we've created with each other.
And so I feel like I'm a part of a really dynamic community.
There's a camaraderie there that, that came unexpected to me. I didn't know that I would be able to experience that again.
Thank you so much, Tom, Steve, Carolyn, and Sarah. You guys, I just really appreciate that you were willing to tell us your story, so thanks.
Thank you, Karen.
I'll just say a few more words about our collective before we move to the art, and then you'll be able to see the website again. It's so hard to talk about anything these days without mentioning the impact of COVID-19. During normal times, though, we do have 4 public art shows per year. And our last was at the prestigious Amy Tarrant Gallery at the Flynn Performing Arts Center. Many of you I know were there. Pre-COVID, we also did field trips to galleries and museums around New England. And we have 2 art studios, one in the Old North End, and the other is located at Howard Center's absolutely wonderful Westview House program, which has sadly had to temporarily close due to COVID. COVID has made the lives of many of our artists very challenging, as I'm sure it's done for all of you. We've had members in crisis much more frequently than usual, some dealing with the death of family members from COVID, others living in extreme isolation without the usual social supports and transportation that they relied on for connection. It's a time when being part of a community and being connected to other humans is not only important, but I would say life-saving. I'm really honored and proud to say that our little group has become what one of our artists refers to as her lifeline. I feel that way too. Our weekly community calls on Zoom are a place where we share not only our sorrows, but our successes. And for example, the joys of creating a self-portrait for the first time, or trying out a new medium like clay or wool or collage, and getting encouragement and getting pushed to keep going and keep exploring and keep connecting. So today we're here celebrating our ability to be together in community through these challenging times. Thank you all for connecting with us, and I invite you now to enjoy the artwork of these amazing artists in our show. Our show is entitled Connections. So I'm going to now bring up the website again. And I'll just ask you to kind of have patience with us today. Moving between platforms can sometimes be a little bit challenging. And I'm going to go to the bottom and start with Anne Avery. And I'll ask Colleen to speak on Anne's behalf.
Anne is a longtime member of the Arts Collective. She did a great job running the arts program at Assist, a Howard Center program, for about 5 years. She enjoys photography, charcoal drawing, collage, watercolors, but she says what resonates most is photography and design. She said, "I like the way photography challenges me to see in unconventional ways, and the way design allows me to express that vision and share it." So for this particular show, Anne wanted to focus on her photography, and she wanted to focus on the comforts of traditions and fun things that Vermont has to offer at a time when we were feeling not so fun. I'm going to just read her blurb to you. Despite the ravages of a global pandemic, life pulsates. In Vermont, that means apple orchards are open for business with a reminder of COVID protocol. In my photos, I've tried to capture this small slice of life as usual during a time when nothing is really usual. And I think she eloquently expressed her desire, and she achieved that. So thank you, Anne.
Yeah, we're really sad Anne couldn't be with us today, but she sends her love to everyone, and Anne's run workshops for us. She's just a really wonderful member of our community. And next I'm going to ask Steve to talk a little bit about his work. Steve, you might have to unmute yourself.
Oh,
There you go. You got it.
Kara. I look for inspiration in weird ways. With this one, I think I was defocusing my eyes so I could overlay lines one over the other, and then I just filled in the blank spots between them. And I like to think of it as coalescing an image from it, because I don't really know where these pieces are going. I just start with pretty much random marks, and I fill it on in. That's basically how I do it. And this one I turned 360 degrees while I was doing it. That's something I learned in an art class. That's a good thing to know. Drawing upside down, sideways, every which way.
So quick question for you, Steve. Do you see any images in this yourself? Or do
Well,
you
when I
leave that?
turn this one sideways, I see a little guy like, if you turned it sideways, you'd see like a face and it's kind of a ghoulish looking creature.
I wish I could. On this platform, I can't do it. So maybe we can all tip our heads sideways.
Yeah, to the right. But I don't know. A lot of times I see primates in my work for some reason. There's maybe not this one, but
yeah,
there's some figures on the bottom there. This one, the one on the left, I call Captured. It looks like a roller coaster ride to me.
Great. Thank you so much, Steve. And as you can see, Steve's pieces are for sale and prints are for sale as well.
Thank you.
And Steve's also a longtime member and artist of the Arts Collective. Next is Rachel Rohde, and unfortunately Rachel had to work today. She couldn't be with us, so I'll just read her her bio. I like to use mixed media with unique materials. I enjoy experimentation, utilizing my natural environment as an artist. I garner inspiration through my experiences in life that have brought me to a stronger relationship with the natural world. And you really can't get a full appreciation for this work in a photo. They're just beautiful. They're three-dimensional. She uses dry flowers. You can see a rose and a sunflower. And she wraps all of this around frames. And they're just stunning in real life. She also does dry flower arrangements. And Rachel does, she works with acrylic. She paints in watercolors. She's, I would say, a multimedia artist. Next, I'll go to Erin. Erin, are you there? You might have to unmute yourself, Erin.
Yep, I'm here.
Okay, just speak up a little bit more.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm really inspired by bright colors and contrast especially. So grasping the intangible, the picture with the hands, was done with pen, ballpoint pen, and colored pencils. And it's actually
Erin, did we lose you? Erin, are you there? Let's try to come back to Erin when she gets her sound back. Erin, are you there still? Okay, we'll move on to Adam and I'll come back to Erin and see if she gets her sound back in a moment. So Adam, are you there for us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, hi everybody. So these two paintings are they're oil paintings. I'm working in oil with linseed oil and also oil crayons. These are paintings that are made on wood. I work on found material. That's an important part of the process for me. And these two are both part of a series of 19 paintings I made during the COVID-19 shutdown. And they each have a car in them. For some reason, this series, I sort of had a car that ran through all the different paintings. And yeah, it's kind of a dream image. I have those dreams where you're driving a car and it goes out of control sometimes. So that's that.
Wonderful. Thanks so much, Adam.
Sure.
And Adam was actually my predecessor as the coordinator for the Arts Collective. He held us together for many years. And I'm going to move up to Colleen and come back to Erin in a minute. Colleen, are you there for us?
Yes. Hi, everybody. I'm Colleen Murphy. I've been with the Arts Collective for a little over a year, and I work with I'm the exhibits coordinator. So for my personal art, I enjoy working with mixed media collage, which, and often includes photography, acrylic paint, paper, colored pencils. My cat's trying to push my iPad over. And sometimes it's realistic, like this one this is called Bursts of Light. And as an example of me wanting to catch the drama of fireworks in the night sky. There's still some photographic imagery in there. There always is. I like the interplay between photographic reality and painted reality. Sometimes I play with more abstract images like the one on the right, which is called From Here to There. And it's, like I said, mostly abstract, but with realistic imagery in there also. I just was trying to play around with space a little bit more compressed space, not quite as realistic. It also I have been dreaming of going to the Amalfi Coast in Italy for years and years and years. And my daughter finally agreed to go with me this past summer, and it was canceled. We couldn't go. So I was very disappointed, but I made a painting where I incorporated some of those dwellings on the side of the coastal mountain there at the top. And again, those are like little photographic images of lit up buildings at night, but with a lot more paint in this one. Light is a very important part of my process and a constant theme in my work.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Colleen. They're just so beautiful. I'm going to try to go back to Erin. Erin, are you there for us? Okay. Erin, are you possibly on mute? Can you unmute yourself?
Yes, I'm here.
There you go. Okay, great. So you were about halfway through telling us about this one.
I left off saying that this was in ballpoint pen and I had shaded a shadow. The hand that's drawn in is holding an object and the hand that's not is holding a shadow.
Mm-hmm.
And that really captured to me grasping the intangible. And the other piece is a macrame. I'm making a pouch and it's black light reactive. I really like bright colors.
Terrific.
Yeah.
And this is, as Erin said, it's a pouch. It's 3-dimensional. So it's hard to appreciate the detail and the texture of it in a photo, but it's absolutely beautiful in real life.
So far it's about 4 inches across and maybe 5 inches long.
Mm-hmm. Great. Thank you so much, Erin. And Erin is our studio manager, by the way, for both studios. And Adam we did, and Colleen. And let's see, Tom is next. Tom, are you there for us?
Yes. Hi, everyone. Well, the two pieces I have of the monastery, I just have a fascination with the monastic way of life, the catharsis of ritual. The second one is devout psychopathology. I came up with the concept of combining religion with psychiatry. I always had a Bosch's painting Garden of Earthly Delights in the back of my mind with that one. I generally use felt tip pens and markers, and I make borders with cardboard, glue, tissue paper, and twine. They just keep on getting larger and larger with each one I make.
Tom, how large are these two pieces?
That one, the devout psychopathology, that's about like 3 feet tall. The monastery is, I would say, a foot tall.
Yeah, yeah. And something that we talk about often in our Thursday calls is all of the faces and characters and detail in Tom's work. And I wish I could bring up a more detailed photo of this. I can't right now, but if you decide to buy any of his work, you'll see that it's just incredible. And Tom, how long did it take you to make these two paintings?
About a
drawings? A month each?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's working on them most days of the week, is that right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Every day of the week. Every
day of the week. Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Tom. And now we'll move to Nicholas McKennett. And Nick can't be here with us today, unfortunately, but Adam, who's a longtime friend of Nick's, has offered to talk about his work. Adam, you might be on mute.
There we go. Good.
Yep,
Can
we
you
can hear you.
Right. So as you said, Nick can't be with us today, but he has two pieces in the show, and he's working in pen and ink, primarily using Micron pens, and he talks about starting, I think like a lot of people, drawing comics at an early age, and now he's, good 40 years into using pens, and he has this very intricate, detailed process. So these are all hand-drawn pieces, and some of them are a single sheet of paper, but some of them are larger works that are interlocking pages, so they could be 20 by 20 or 30 by 30. They're quite intense to behold. They're large and very intricate. He spends a lot of time with them, and asks in his blurb for the show that people take as much time to look at them as he does to make them, which I think is worth doing. They're really very beautiful.
Thank you, Adam.
Sure.
Appreciate you doing that. And like Tom, Nick spends weeks, months often on one piece, and they're just something to behold. And now I'll move up to Heather Foster's work. And Heather is another artist who unfortunately couldn't be here today, but I'll talk a little bit about her work. I've known Heather for 3 or 4 years now, and I'll read what she wrote. I enjoy painting because of all the colors. I paint flowers and animals because I learned to draw them when I was young, and I still enjoy painting them now. And Heather will come into the studio and put a stack of 5 or 6 or 7 canvases next to her, and she won't leave until they're all completely finished. And she does, as you can see here, she loves doing flowers. I think echinacea is her favorite. She also does incredible paintings of bunnies, of fish and birds. And she almost always uses these bright, just almost fluorescent colors. Her paintings are all priced at $20, and she has, I think we have at least 60 or 70 in the studio. So if anyone wants to see some of her others, we're happy to show them to you at a later date. I'll just say too that some of the artwork in the show is priced, and that means of course that it's for sale. Others are marked NFS, which means not for sale. So if you're interested, you can shoot an email to the contact information that'll appear at the end of the show, and we can hook you up with the artist, and you're welcome to purchase any of those. And the Q&A is coming up. I just want to say that if you have questions that are kind of fomenting in your mind as you look at this work, please shoot those questions to me in the chat, and we'll get to them at the end of this session. So now I'll move on to Jacob. Jacob, are you there for us?
Yes, I am.
Great. Hi, Jacob. Go ahead.
All right. So I just joined the group about 6 months ago, and I found it a great way to kind of replenish my creative energies. And I find it to be like a meditation. It's a great, being part of the group has really inspired me to keep creating. I was having some hard times just getting myself to do it, but knowing that I'm going to see everybody on Thursday, I'm like, oh, I got to draw, I got to do something. And I really enjoy doing, right now I'm enjoying doing other people's artwork, drawing from masters. And it's like doing a puzzle. It's like putting a puzzle together, and it's just meditative for me. So I appreciate the group and appreciate the inspiration it gives me to keep working.
Can you tell us what these two are, Jacob?
Yeah, this is Renoir's Luncheon. I forget the full name, but I just call it the Luncheon. Mm-hmm. And so the left would be more like the color one would be more like a study for a painting. And I like putting colors up against each other and playing with things like that. And then the drawing is more like my figuring out like, oh, hey, I know how to draw and seeing how things fit together. I kept I kept redrawing that drawing over and over again. It's a really complex painting by Renoir, and I just couldn't get them to get close enough, you know. And they're really close. It's a huge painting too to think about. Like he made all these beings kind of looking at each other and interacting, but they kept wanting to fall apart, so I had to keep trying to bring them back together.
Yeah. They're both wonderful. And thank you so much for sharing them, Jacob.
Thank
and
you.
I know all of our members are kind of biting their lips right now because what we're used to doing on Thursdays is talking and commenting and giving feedback and encouraging and complimenting. So we're trying not to do that today so that we can get through the program for you. But that's what we usually do. And now we're on Travis. Travis, are you there for us?
Yes, hello. Good afternoon.
Yep. Go ahead, Travis.
Hi. I'll try to squeeze it into the minute. This is a diptych that I believe it's acrylic and oil, and I can't really remember what certain parts were, but it's basically growing up, I always focused on certain parts of a painting, like when I walk up really close. So as I grew up, I would kind of make paintings where every part of the painting was, it's very hard to describe, but it's also kind of like world building and kind of a puzzle to me. And as I keep going, I edit out parts that I don't like, and I just will keep working on it until I feel it's complete. And yeah, and also I listen to a lot of music. So this one was called Where the Bee Dances for Michael Nyman, because it's such a beautiful piece and it is really important to me. And then the other one, Zone of Avoidance, for ASC, is an electronic musician that I listened to specifically when I was painting that. And it's just a lot of organic, nature inspired, but I'm not really trying to paint animals or anything like that. It's up to the viewer to interpret it. So.
And
Thank
I know,
you.
Travis, you've said in the past that you're actually colorblind. Is that right?
Yes, I think there's a different term for it now. Like, they've updated whatever the word is. But yeah, so I'm always kind of surprised when people tell me what colors they see in it. And yeah, I always just try kind of surprise myself too.
Yeah, wonderful. And these are really large pieces. They're really something to behold. Most of Travis's work that I've seen are extremely large. They cover a wall. And now I'll move on to Sarah Smith. Sarah, are you there for us?
Yeah, I'm here.
Great, Sarah. I'm so glad you made it.
I drew the flowers for all occasions. You see tulips, daisies, carnations, like special occasions, you get flowers, you know, for events and stuff. So those are kind of flowers I drew. And daffodils is like spring. And then I did a painting of tulips, and I get inspired by artists like Van Gogh and and also Picasso with the bright, vivid colors. And I like drawing big flowers like Georgia O'Keeffe. So I get inspired by other artists, and that's why. And I like art because it's really lively, and it makes you, when you look at nice art, it makes you feel good. So that's why I drew flowers, because it just makes me feel better.
Thank you so much, Sarah.
Nice.
Yeah, and
I get inspired by that's for art.
And I have to say, your work makes me feel better too, Sarah. I just love seeing all of your beautiful flowers. So thank you so much for participating in this show and making it here today. I know it wasn't easy.
Yeah.
Next, I'm going to ask Sarah to talk about her pieces. Sarah, are you there for us? You might have to unmute yourself. Sarah, are you there for us today?
I'm trying. There we are.
Okay, gotcha.
Sorry about that.
No worries.
Okay, I'm gonna just take a minute on the mailbox on the right. I had an aneurysm in 2013, and after I finished 8 months in the hospital combination residential rehab, I couldn't move back home because I couldn't climb the stairs. And an occupational therapist suggested that I continue working with top-down skills. So art was a skill for me since childhood. So I moved back to the country again in 2019. And this is just me being back in the country and being happy and not thinking, just feeling plein air, just doing a drawing of an analog mailbox and keeping it simple. I want to go to the other piece. This was done around the same time. Because of the brain aneurysm, I also got involved with the Council on the Blind because it affected my vision and caused aphasia for remembering the names of things, and I couldn't read or write yet. I had to relearn it. And so this, I want to talk a little bit in more detail, and I don't have a lot of time. So I want the title of this, if Kara highlights the upper right, you'll see that there's an artist, Rimbaud, that inspired me. He's a French poet. He did a piece called The Names of Vowels. And so I've included in this piece, you'll see there's the E's, which E is white. And all of the vowels are included in various places, like a Where's Waldo in this piece. But I think the important thing here is to recognize that at this point, I was still trying to figure out where I'm centered and where there's a meaning in my life. When I still can't read, I'm still speaking like a robot, trying to do art. And if you could highlight the one on the left, so it's larger. This is a very large piece. It's actually—
And that's time too, Sarah?
Okay.
Take your time and wrap up.
Okay, so I'm using a mirror here. I'm looking at myself to try and understand where I am in this moment. And I'm also drawing this from 3 different directions in the same room. And this took me a month to do, where the one you saw before took a day. And unless you see the full size, you can't appreciate the story, because it is a story of recovery and finding meaning with loss. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. And I love hearing the stories behind both of your pieces, so thank you. Carolyn, are you there for us?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say, in that little blurb from that video we did in October, I didn't say what I was doing. I was making pot holders. I just wanted you to clear that up.
Okay, got it.
It's a gift, and I can't wait to give it to her.
Oh, that's great, Carolyn. So let everyone know that these are for sale. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure, you can customize orders, or I ran out at Christmas, so I'm just starting to get a stockpile up again. But they're $10 a piece, 2 for $15. You can call the Arts Collective or email them, and if there's colors you'd like, I'd be happy to do it. And just
any color we like, right? And Carolyn is just amazing at making these pot holders. She can sit for hours and work on the loom. I have 6 in my home, and we use them every night of the week. So if you need pot holders, she is your woman. Isn't that right, Carolyn?
That's right.
Thanks so much, Carolyn.
All right, thank you.
I'm the next artist, and I'll just say really briefly that I love using watercolors and doing something called mark making. You can see from these, I get a lot of inspiration from patterns, mostly patterns around my house, on jewelry and baskets that I've brought back from Africa, where I lived for about 12 years. And I just have a lot of fun with this. They're called Marks and Swirls, Marks and Swirls 1 and Marks and Swirls 2. And I thought you might enjoy these two. One is a monochrome and the other is has a touch of gold in it. And Susanna, our last artist. Are you there, Susanna?
I do believe I'm here.
Okay, go for it.
Well, these two paintings are both done in acrylic, but throughout my life, I've worked in every possible medium. Well, I'm not sure every possible, many mediums, and including, of course, everybody's notes paper when I was small. Whatever was laying around, I'd scribble on it. But these are from my life in the Arctic. I spent 21 years in Barrow, Alaska, the farthest north community in the United States. And if we could go back to the ice one, please, Kara. Thank you. My earlier years, I spent a lot of time in the spring going out onto the ice. When a whale was caught, a friend of ours who was on a whaling crew, and they still, the Inupiat people where I live, the Eskimo is going out the window, but the Inupiat people, they hunt the bowhead whale and beluga, but primarily the bowhead. There are no other, the gray whales come and go as they please, and it's just the bowhead. This painting took me probably 2.5 months, but there's an original one that I'd be glad to sell for about 10,000. The original one is much better than this one. So that's just part of my life, going out on the ice. The other one, the Cessna 185. Time. Okay, yep. It belonged to a friend of mine. This is on the Colville River. It runs northward into the Arctic Ocean, and I did a lot of flying. I was a member of the Farthest North Civil Air Patrol, and our area covered 93,000 square miles. And I don't have much time. I'd like to see a whole lot more.
Thank you so much, Susanna. These are just beautiful examples of your work. We really appreciate that.
The airplane took me 3 months.
Wow. Yeah, wonderful. Well, that's the end of our session where we're showing art. And first of all, thank you to all of our artists. I think many of you are on mute, but if we could just give a round of visible applause to our artists, that would be wonderful. And now I want to give an opportunity for people to ask questions. And you've been sending questions along in the chat here, so I'm going to read some of them. Let's start with, let's see, for anyone, who are some of the artists that inspire you, and what are some of the ways we can support the Arts Collective? Okay, let's start with the inspiration. I'm going to just throw it out there. Does anyone here want to talk about their inspiration? And I'll ask you to unmute yourself as an artist and just jump in. I know all of you have an artist that inspired you, and I'll start picking on you if you don't just jump in.
I'll jump in.
Go ahead.
This is Susanna. I always have loved the Wyeth's work. Now, my art does not look like theirs at all, but really in my family, my grandfather was a painter, a portrait painter. My mother was on the other side, was a painter. I had a cousin who was a painter. And there are 5 of us in our family who are painters. So I guess it was sort of, it just runs in my blood, and I take everything from nature. Most everything is from nature.
Thank you, Susanna. Anyone else want to answer that question?
Ever heard of Edward Gorey?
I haven't, Steve. Is he one of your?
Well, also Nick Blinko and artists like that. They're really intricate looking pieces. That's also one of Nick's inspirations, by the way. We've talked about that.
Blinko is that right?
Yeah, Nick Blinko, yeah. Other artists like that. I like H.R. Giger and a lot of sci-fi art. And I love the classic masters and Van Gogh and Monet and Impressionists and all of it. I just love it.
Great. Thank you so much, Steve, for that contribution. I'm going to read another question that just came in. Art seems to me like a very private endeavor, and I think for some it is. In what way is being part of a group helpful for your art? Does anyone want to take a shot at that question?
Now, Susanna here, this really, I don't want to take up the whole time, but I missed this, putting this in. My art went into the juried art exhibitions of the Anchorage for a Rendezvous, and it's the 10th largest winter festival. And so I was able to help 6 out of 7 years. And that, like this collective, is an inspiration. I haven't done art in about 16, 17 years, so I'm using art from the past. I'm hoping the collective helps me get back into it.
Yeah, thank you, Susanna. I'm going to ask Sarah, I hope you don't mind if I put this question to you, because I know for you, art can be a very private experience, but you do come to the group and you feel very dedicated to the group. So can you maybe answer that question of why is it helpful to be part of the group? And you can unmute yourself. Unmute yourself, Sarah. There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because our lives have many chapters and time is not linear. So we revisit things and rethink things and we see them in different perspectives. And so experiencing and talking about each other's work and seeing other people grow and change mediums and rethink what they're doing and how they're learning inspires me, because I think that talking about each other's processes and that trust and compassion and understanding with each other it is very deeply inspiring, as deep as when I'm in the creative process by myself and alone. I do unexpected things that just are wonderful. And I think that's community. That's like the beauty of community. And when there's that level of trust and respect and sharing, it's just magical and it's healing.
Thank you so much, Sarah. You speak so well about that experience, and I feel that same experience. Someone asks, where does Nicholas start with a painting or with his ink? Adam, I wonder, could you answer that for us? Do you have any sense of how Nick works? And I think you're on mute, Adam.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I can answer that. I mean, I feel like on some of his larger pieces, he starts in the center. But, you know, I wouldn't want to say that I actually know for sure his thinking around that.
Okay.
And it's interesting because they are interlocking pages, so they're separate pieces that fit together perfectly. It's interesting, but I'm not sure how he plans it, you know?
Yeah, and I'll just bring up his work right now. I've seen him, kind of what you're describing, start in the center and move outwards, but I have never seen him work on an entire piece, so I'm not sure if he does that the whole time. I hope that answers that question. And I think we need to wrap up. So we're right at 51. I'm going to ask Brittany if she can play us the final video. And oh, one other thing, I'll just say that someone asked how to support the Arts Collective. There are lots of ways. You can buy some of our work at any of our shows, this show or any of the shows coming up. And we're going to put a final slide up after the video that will give you the list of the next 4 shows for 2021. And you're welcome to come to our receptions if we can have in-person receptions. And you'll see there which work is for sale. And we always encourage people to buy our artists' work. You can also make donations to the Howard Center on their website, and you can specify in the cell when you make the donation that you want your donation to go to the Arts Collective. And you can come to our shows and just be part of our community. And if you want to be on our mailing list to find out more about that, you can, you'll find an email address on the final slide. So with that, I'll ask Brittany to take us to the final video. And this is a poem created by our artists for our Amy Tarrant show. It's called Art is My Sanctuary.
Art is my sanctuary.
It grounds me and gives my life meaning.
Art empowers and enriches me.
It opens me up to other worlds.
Art speaks my name.
It remedies my trauma.
It gives me purpose.
And allows me to express myself without judgment.
Art is my Prozac.
It heals me. It is my medicine.
Art makes me vulnerable. It is my happy place.
Art is a surprise.
It gets me high. It lets me play.
It's how I express my voice.
Art is humanity. Art is the light in my day. I am an artist.
Thank you to all of our artists. And Brittany, I'll ask you to put up our final slide just so people can know how to get in touch with us and know about our shows that are coming up in 2021. There they are. One in May at the Metropolitan Gallery at City Hall, one in July and August at Flynn Dog Gallery on Flynn Avenue, the Art Hop in September, and then at Fletcher Free Library in November and December. To buy art, to join our mailing list, or for any information about our artists or our art, you can email us at artscollective@howardcenter.org. And that's our program for today. Thank you all so much for being here. And one last round of applause for our artists. Thank you.
Thank you, Kara from Sinai Sisterhood.
You're welcome. Thank you for being here.
Oh, it's a highlight of my week.
Have a wonderful day, everyone.
Great job, Kara.
Thank you.
Great job, Kara.
Thank you,
everyone. That was
Thank you.
wonderful.
Thank you. Peace.
All wonderful artists.
Have a good weekend.
Great work.
Take
Yeah,
care.
keep working. Keep working. Keep working. Yeah.
Work on.
Kara, you're the best.
I'm selling